I'm very nervous. So, as I've talked about before, we don't know the we don't know the new kind of criteria for series getting canceled now that Shonen Jump is all digital. As I talked about before, it was different back when they were all physical because they only had so much space in the magazine, and if something wasn't doing too well, then they use like rankings instead of volume one sales for some reason. But if it wasn't doing too well, they would axe it by around 15 to 20 or so as the chapter number. But obviously it's all digital now, so we don't know what it will kind of like end at as the general early axing for series, because now they have infinite space, as almost essentially infinite space for putting out manga. They only have to worry about paying the people that are working on it, and then when the physical releases come out. So by that, because Warden Higuma has not been ranked very high, but that From Japan series has been ranked like bottom since like the start. It's not very popular. But I think the next chapter of Warden Higuma will give off whether or not the series will get canceled. And let me talk about that essentially. So I recorded the last chapter review, but my audio was all messed up, and I was so frustrated I didn't want to do it again. I just focused on other stuff instead. But so this chapter, obviously, like the last one we saw, just kind of wrapping it up, we saw like Higuma as a kid, this relationship with his dad and his aunt, and how his dad really wanted to try and get him into the idea of being a Hell Warden, where his aunt really wanted to, get it all finished. So, a kind kid like him who didn't have the heart to be a Hell Warden wouldn't have to deal with this shit. And she was actually also being controlled by Engetsu, this dark-skinned, kind of like fiery, burnt-eared fugitive spirit, because she was the first person. What's her name? Haruma, I think. Yeah, Haruma, who's actually Higuma's aunt. She was the first person to find that realm that it seems to be the base of all the fugitive spirits. And while she was in there, because even though normally the dude's white smoke that came out of his pipe wouldn't affect Hell Wardens, but it was more powerful in that realm because it was covered in this mist of this guy called the Old Man, who they're trying to bring about. Apparently, he's like their boss, some super powerful bad guy for obvious reasons seen. But while being confronted about her wanting to pretty much use him to destroy King Enma and end the curse of the Hell Wardens, because it was one of their ancestors is the one that let out the Old Man and pretty much brought about all these escapees from hell, all this stuff. And in return, he wanted some like scrolls on the Hell Wardens. So they had this whole like scheme together. But when Higuma's dad, Ozma, was like, "Hey, you wouldn't talk with the guy's controlling you," when he was obviously figuring out, because he knows his sister. Right when that happened, Akagane, the whole dude with the copper inside his body who loves killing the Hell Wardens whenever they have a kid turn 10, he shows up, stabs her right through the back, and then Ozma and Akagane get in a fight. You actually get a really cool part with Engetsu, the fiery curse spirit, fugitive spirit, is like talking about how he like every single other one of the fugitive spirits clearly wants the Old Man to be let out, because I guess he's their leader. He seems to be the most powerful guy and capable of letting more of them out of hell. But telling him that Akagane was a bad idea, because the whole scheme is in end of what they're doing, there'd be no Hell Wardens, but the Akagane's entire thing is he likes to fight and kill Hell Wardens every time that they have a kid turn 10, and so he could repeat this cycle every handful of years, and just this long continuous hunt for him, which why I don't understand. Engetsu probably thought of the general, like, yeah, he's going to be on our side, he's a fugitive spirit, why wouldn't he? But I don't think he took into account this dude's clear drive to no allegiance to any of the others, but just to kill Hell Wardens. So it actually backfired on him. You get this really cool panel where Engetsu's white smoke in his pipe turns black, and he's clearly just seems like pissed off because he made this dumb decision. Meanwhile, Higuma's like just trying to figure out what to do here. He finds his aunt just bleeding out on the floor while his dad is fighting Akagane. And I actually got this really cool panel where Haruma just leans up and she's like, "I'm not gonna die lying down like this. I'm still his big sister. I gotta, do something." And she ends up using her last, what I'm guessing is her last moments to use her hands, number 0 and number 1, to support her brother and land a hit on Akagane. And it seems like one of those moments where that's the turnaround point and they beat him, but still he ended up losing to Akagane and dying in the process. And then you get back to the present day in the story where Higuma is fighting him. He's lost an arm, he's lost a leg, and he's using his Zaishu. I think that's what they were called. He pretty much has now one of them, the cord blade one, like slicing into his leg to hold it into place. And oh yeah, he's got the copper shit going into like creeping up to his heart. So he's either going to have to kill Akagane or get a way to get it to stop. Maybe Akagane will do it. But in the last panels of the chapter, he cuts off the dude's hand. So this, what time am I at? Like 5 minutes, 6 minutes? I'll try and wrap this up in like 2 minutes. This is the moment where it's going to depend whether or not this series is getting canceled. Because this could go one of two ways. He could kill Akagane, which would end like this whole big villain. And this guy's a big deal, obviously, for both reasons of the main character, wanting to get revenge for his dad and his aunt. But also, this guy is a big deal for Hell Wardens in general. Because if Higuma ever wants to have a family in the future, this guy has to be dead. Otherwise, he's going to come for him eventually. And then hopefully one day fight Higuma's kids. Or, after he cuts off his hand, Akagane is going to say, "I don't want to kill you now because I want you to get stronger, so when I come back, I can fight you and get a better fight out of it." Because clearly the dude is all about the hunt. He's all about fighting and fighting Hell Wardens. And like I said, it'll go those two ways. It's definitely going to go one of those two ways. Somehow that the dude leaves, essentially, and doesn't want to fight him right now. Or Higuma kills him. And if Higuma kills him, I think that'll be a sign that the series is going to end. Because he can't... This guy's clearly powerful enough to beat... Like, he beat Higuma's dad, like, much more powerful, much more skilled and trained Hell Warden. So, if he beats him now, it's going to feel so much like a rush job. I don't think it'll make any sense. So, we'll see in the next chapter. I think it will be... I'm hoping it'll be that the dude leaves and the series is getting canceled. And he's going to instead have this dude's hand as one of his Zaishu, and this is going to be like his trump card, his best one, but also one that he's going to hate to use, just thinking about, using this guy's power. Very interesting stuff. Super interesting in my mind. And that's one of the reasons I really don't want this series to get canceled. I like this whole confrontation very early in the series. It reminds me a lot of Ichigo and Grand Fisher. And I feel like that whole plot line wasn't played out as well, and it had a lot more potential, but it looks like this will hold more water than what it did with Bleach. And I think this guy will be a much bigger deal than Grand Fisher, because not only is he very powerful, he clearly has this kind of wild card position with even the other fugitive spirits. But other than that, drop a comment below on what you think about the series. I've been enjoying it. I have fun. I look forward to it every week. Or at the current moment, I've been really liking the current arc. I like the designs of the characters. I like the main character as well. I like this whole backstory too. It was really good. And I'd really appreciate if you would thumbs up the video, friend the like button and the subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.